destruction. Remember? Remember destruction. It's a person, the destroyer. Pride goeth before. I think I'm saying that. I better look it up. Pride goeth. It's pride. Pride goeth. People say pride goeth before a fall, and I don't think so. I think it's destruction. Pride goeth before. Where is it? Where are you? What is it? Proverbs. Hang on here. Proverbs, what? Destruction shall be the workers of iniquity. No, that's not it. Hell and destruction are before the Lord. No, that's not. Here we go. Proverbs 16:18. Pride goeth before destruction. Had it right. And a haughty spirit before a fall. What did Paul warn us about? A fall. These pride festivals are doing nothing but leading this country, the world, to falling before the Antichrist, just like the Babylonians did in the plain of Dura, when Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego said, "Nah, we're not bound to that. That's not our God." So the Pride Festival is leading to our destruction and the advent of the destroyer. The lights are visible. Here's what happened. The St. Louis Civil Courts building is sporting gay pride colors for the first time in a move to show support for the gay community for the upcoming Pride Fest. The lights are visible from the river and out west, although some question how the building's light makeover was paid for. On Monday, a St. Louis-based company plugged in 60 LED light fixtures onto the Civil Courts building, and it was all done courtesy of Dutchtown alderman Shane Cohn. That's a Jewish name. He used $15,000 from a capital improvement fund that is given to him and other aldermen each year. So it wasn't his money. It was government money, a capital improvement fund. Have you driven through St. Louis? Do you know that it looks like Detroit in some places? Buildings falling down. I mean, ruin and decay everywhere. The alderman gets $15,000 in a capital improvement money to do something good with it, and he goes and blows it on rainbow lights on the St. Louis Civil Courts building. The fund is made up of collected sales taxes. Individual aldermen decide on how they will spend their portion with approval from 2 city boards. Now, here's what got me. Here's what grabbed my attention on this thing. The St. Louis Civil Courts building. Here's a photograph of it here. This is what they did. You can't really tell what the building is, although I have featured it in several Watchman video broadcasts. Here is a better view of it. $15,000 in tax money, which means this is government paid for and supported. Here's another picture of it. All the colors of the pretty rainbow telling us that the Antichrist is coming soon. Now here's what got me on this. The St. Louis Civil Courts building. Let me show you what it looks like here. This is a picture of it in daytime. It is a Greek temple. That's what's on the top of it. A Greek temple with a step pyramid on the top of it. Now, there are other examples, and I'm going to tell you what this means here in a little bit. Some of you may already know. But there are other examples of this in different places around the country. Here is the War Memorial Monument in Indianapolis, Indiana, and it has the same design, a Greek temple topped off with a step pyramid. Here is, and here we go right here. Here's the connection. Here is the Mother Lodge of Freemasonry in Washington, D.C., about 13 blocks straight north of the White House. Go figure. It is a Greek temple topped with a step pyramid. Now, on top of the St. Louis one, you can't really see it from this picture, but there is like a rectangular box on top of it and 2 sphinxes facing one east and one west. That would be opposites, in case you went to school in California and didn't know that. Facing in the opposite, so it's the fusion of the opposites. You kind of get that scenario. This is where all the uppity ups Masons meet. And by the way, there are two, if you can see there are two sphinxes at the entryway to this thing. A sphinx is it's sort of like, let me see if I can find it here, sort of like this. It's a half human, half beast thingy. That's what a sphinx is. It's the melding of the two together. The original design comes from the mausoleum at Halicarnassus. And basically it was just a big giant grave, all right? Here is what, and I looked at this thing. I've been looking at this thing in St. Louis for years, and I'm going, what in the world is that? And I knew that there was something about it, and I couldn't quite put my finger on. Then I started reading several years ago, Morals and Dogma by Albert Pike, and that was when I was just starting to understand the whole secret of Freemasonry and exactly what it was. And here is how Albert Pike goes about describing the symbolism of this idea of a Greek temple, which is the square, and a step pyramid, which of course is like a triangle. Let me show you this. Most Masonic aprons, not all of them, most Masonic aprons have essentially the same thing. You have a square, and then you have a triangle mingled into it. I don't have this graphic. Have you ever seen the Gmail logo? Go look at it. Go look at the Gmail. You know what? I have it on my phone here. Hang on. I'll show it to you if I can find it. Here we go, right here. The Gmail logo is essentially the same design. Okay? Now, here is what Fat Albert Pike said that was a representation of, or a symbol of. He says 7 is the sacred number in all theogonies and all symbols because it is composed of 3 and 4. Now stop right here. It is composed of 3, the triangle, and 4, the square. Now, here's what I want you to do. Remember, from our video on the number 7, the King James Code, and its occult significance, all these occult things, the New Age, everything, talking about the 7 chakras, 7 colors of the rainbow, they all connect here. And Albert says that 7 is a sacred number because it's a combination of 3 and 4. And if you understand anything about numbers, if you all you do is understand them in the Bible, then you can get the opposite of that in the occult realm. You don't have to read all the books and stuff like that. But it's a combination of 3 and 4. 3, 4, 3 is the magic number. You remember that from your childhood? I do. The Schoolhouse Rock. 3 represents the all-seeing eye pyramid. You have the 2 points on the bottom. You have the third on the top, which is the all-seeing eye. It's a representation of the triple helix, the augmentation of mankind, and so on. It represents the man of sin. 3, lust of the flesh, lust of the eyes, pride of life. The number 4 represents the earth, or earthly things, and so on. The 4 corners of the earth, and so on. Here's what Albert Pike goes on to say. He says it's a combination of 3 and 4. It represents the magical power in its full force. It is the spirit assisted by all the elementary powers. You know what that is? Earth, air, fire, and water. The elements. It is the spirit, think of spirit, and assisted by the elementary powers, the earth. The soul served by nature. Again, the soul being of a spiritual substance, nature being of like the earth. The holy empire spoken of in the clavicles of Solomon, symbolized by a warrior, crowned, bearing a triangle, and standing on a cube, to which are harnessed 2 sphinxes. This is what shows up on the St. Louis Civil Courts building, one white and the other black, pulling contrary ways and turning the head to look backward. Now, let me go back to this here. This is the Mother Lodge of Freemasonry. It bears a resemblance to the Civil Courts Building in St. Louis, the War Memorial in Indianapolis. And I forgot to put this graphic in here, but it also is a representation of the City Hall in Los Angeles. City Hall has this exact thing. And probably in the city that you live close by, if you have skyscrapers, the city that you live near, if you'll go to town during the day, look at all the tops of the buildings, and almost, I think, in just about every city, you're going to find at the top of some of these buildings like a square or a rectangle shape with a triangle or pyramid sitting on top of it. And what this represents is, and here's what Pike is saying, the bottom part represents the earth, the woman, the female. The top part, the triangle, represents the God forces. And they are joined together, and they're like fused together. This is 4 and 3 added together, and the equality of that is your number 7. Now, I've made this analogy here before. The Mother Lodge of Freemasonry in Washington, D.C. has 33 columns on the bottom. You can go there and count them if you want to. 33 on the bottom. And then the step pyramid has 13 steps going up to the top. If you do the math, that's 46. That is a sort of a mirror or a type of both parts of Freemasonry, the Scottish Rite and the York Rite. If you know anything about Masonry, you know the Scottish Rite has 33 levels. The York Rite has 13 levels. 33 and 13 together is 46. You're dealing literally with the temple of the human being. So when I saw the rainbow lights illuminating the symbol of Masonry in St. Louis, the temple, the square temple, and the step pyramid, I knew immediately the symbolism of it, the significance of it. They didn't just light any building in St. Louis. They lit this building right here. And somebody had to, they had to have had some kind of special permission to do this. And because this is a federal building, protected by federal laws. You can't put chewing gum on the floor without someone coming after you and saying, we're going to write you a ticket. Somebody uppity up here gave special permission to display the symbolism here. So hence, I believe that there is a connection between the gay pride movement and what Freemasonry represents and where it's all headed. It's headed to the deification or the apotheosis of mankind. Freemasonry says we're making good men better. How do you do that? You turn them into gods. Freemasonry has a slogan that they're all proud of, whether it's Scottish Rite, York Rite, French Freemasonry, British Freemasonry, or whatever. It is the 3 tenets. Now, notice the number 3 here. The 3 tenets of Masonry: liberty, equality,